What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your wonderful day, and this will be another weather forecast here by the Hurricane Watch team here. This is your member Adrian from Adrian's Weather Forecast, and this will be a video here on the tropics for the Indian Ocean. In this video, we're going to be talking about what the Indian Ocean can possibly see for the next, oops, I did not mean to do that, for the next few days here. So that's going to be something we're going to be really watching out, whether the Indian Ocean can potentially ramp up. Obviously, we just saw Luis out there make landfall in Mozambique. So they're really going to write the concerns whether we can see more storms like that throughout the next few days here. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing throughout this video here. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. And even if you want to get notified whenever we do live streams or videos, hit the bell notification icon so you get notified as soon as we do a video here, whether it's me or another member of the team. Both that for ado, let's get into the video. The first thing we'll be seeing right now is where we have disturbances or exactly what we have to really keep in mind here. So right now, we do have the remnants of Luis there, or 12S, which obviously made landfall in Mozambique, and it is between the border of Mozambique and as well as Zimbabwe. So it's going to continue to bring some flooding threats throughout today, but it should diminish by tonight. And as well, we do have a tropical cyclone 13S, which most likely really won't do anything. Won't hit land right there into areas of the Eastern Indian Ocean there. Nothing really expected from tropical cyclone 13S. I don't see really anything occurring landfall wise, but that's what we have so far for the Indian Ocean. From tropical joint typhoon center. So let's go ahead and take a look now at the actual SSTs we have in the Indian Ocean to see exactly where the areas are most likely favorable for the next few days. So this is a look now at the SSTs for the Indian Ocean as we're speaking right now here. So they're quite actually warm. You can see this general region here across the central and northern portion there near the Bay of Bengal, of course, is quite warm there. So we could really watch out for something over here. But really the main area I'm really concerned about is the northwestern coast there of Australia, where we do actually have 31 to 32 degrees Celsius water. It's definitely something to really watch out here. This is my area of concern number one, and as well really watching out this big blob right here in the central Indian Ocean, where we have seen a few storms so far, and there are potential storms that could form here in the next few days, whether it's 10 or 14 days. There is definitely a chance here. Conditions are very favorable after the next 5 days. Right now, we have a ton of shear across the Indian Ocean. Obviously, Eloise was away from that shear as it was all the way over here near Mozambique and Madagascar. However, this area is seeing a ton of shear right now. However, this should clear out by the next few days, so this could raise a concern by the next 2 weeks to have some storms developing across the Indian Ocean. Will it get obviously active? No, because really this is a quote-unquote off-season, since it's not really April or May or June or anything like that. However, temperatures still very warm enough, especially right here in northwestern Australia, where we do have a concern here maybe for the next 2 weeks here, and same thing for the central Indian Ocean. But again, waters as of now are very favorable, and they will continue to be favorable within the next 10 or 14 days. Obviously, it's not just the temperatures and SSTs. We got to keep a lookout for tropical developments, also the shear, and as well whether we have dry air. And that's exactly what we'll be looking at later in the video. But before we can do that, let's go ahead and take a look now at what we have model-wise to see what they have. So here's like now at the GFS here. This is, of course, the 12Z here. On this, of course, early afternoon here. So this is what we have so far. We do actually have for the next 30 hours there. There we have, of course, have 13S over here developing across the Indian Ocean. But we are going to be seeing some scattered low pressures that could be an area of development here. Of course, right here near Sri Lanka, as well right here in the the western Indian Ocean. Obviously, many of these low pressures will just be some tropical thunderstorms, nothing of really actual development wise, as we will be seeing a ton of shear between now and the next few days. However, they're going to be really watching out, but potentially after now, around a week from now, we are going to be potentially watching favorable conditions. So really, as we see some tropical lows develop in this whole circle, definitely have to keep in mind that they could very well develop. Obviously, this is still very far out. We're talking 10 to 14 days. definitely could, a lot can change here model wise, but as well, going to really watching as well. As the GFS does show another type Eloise making landfall near Mozambique and the Madagascar region there in southern Africa on February 2nd. Of course, this could very well change, but definitely a concern here as waters are around 30 to 32 degrees Celsius here, and definitely be as well watching out for the central Indian Ocean, as we could very well see like a tropical cyclone 13S somewhat storm there. And as well, like I did say, gonna really watch out for the northwestern Australian region. All those waters, they're very, very warm here, and storms can easily develop here again. So this is kind of my main region right here to really watch out for the next 2 weeks. Of course, my second region will very well be across areas like southern, the south, eastern African region, and as well the general out to sea. And this is my third option because obviously this obviously won't be as severe, as most likely any storms that form here really won't be anything at a threat to land. So this is 1, 2, and 3 we're going to really be watching out for the next few days. And again, storms like this are definitely possible. And of course, can really watch out maybe from some small little systems that could very well be areas of development, and investors really keep an eye on. Obviously, there's no major hurricanes or anything like that, or actual tropical storms that we have to keep in mind between now and the next 5 days. However, there's always a concern that we could see some strong storms developing between the next maybe 5 to next 14 days throughout the Indian Ocean here that could very well models could pick up on very, very soon. But as of now, conditions are favorable after the next 5 days. Right now, much of the Indian Ocean, you're not going to be seeing any really actual low pressures, except for obviously 13S, which is kind of outside that shear, really become a big concern here. Could we really watch out for something right here, 994 millibars in the next 60 hours here? This could very well be another potential area of development here if Joint Typhoon Center will actually pick up on that. But obviously, we still have a lot of time to keep a track on these systems. Another model to look at is the European here, and there you see 13S. That's obviously going to go out to sea, so nothing really major. But like I said, we could see some multiple systems in this general region here in the central Indian Ocean, where we can see kind of 13S somewhat. And there you got Australia right here. Of course, area to watch, number 1, and then number 2 right there off the areas like Mozambique, like we just saw Eloise. But obviously, the next few days really won't see anything too major. There you see, of course, there you got 13S just going out to sea, really. But again, we're going to really watch out. As of right now, the European really isn't showing too many low pressures like the GFS has, but they do have the same low pressure developing off Australia at the same time. So definitely alarming when you have two models showing the same low pressure forming the same area here. But thing about 13S, later on when it actually moves eastward, could we be seeing a major system here, a major cyclone? Is that a possibility? As it does go out to sea, obviously it's going to really potentially fall apart. But once the conditions do become favorable, we are looking at potential another cyclone heading towards the eastern coast of Africa. However, it may be just within Mozambique. We will see here. Obviously, it's still 10 days out, but obviously still a little bit alarming that 13S has already formed, and could it actually take the same track as the European does have. But of course, right now 13S is kind of really outside the main amount of shear. Like I did say, the central Indian Ocean is really full of shear. But of course, really Eloise was kind of lucky there outside of that main area of shear, and same thing as Australia. So these two regions that I'm keeping an eye on for the next 2 weeks are the ones that have really little to no shear right now. But again, really once again, the next 5 days, all that shear will really start to move a lot more to the south, where temperatures or SSTs are a lot colder and obviously unfavorable. Really, once you pass this actual line right here, this is when really things are unlikely to actually form here, as waters are very, very cold here. Obviously, that really isn't the area to really watch out. The area to watch out is really right here. This very large scattered area here across from Africa up to Australia, really watching out, very widespread region, because look, this area is going to have very little shear. So this is going to become very favorable, as those SSTs are in the same area are around 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. So as long as we have a lot of moisture, that will be a key factor. And there you see That's exactly why we're watching for any low pressures that form in this area, because it's obviously quite favorable for these to form here, like this one. Definitely something to keep in mind, as well as this one right here off Australia could very well have a very favorable environment. And last but not least, taking a look now at the actual whether we have precipitation or very dry air. So really, this is kind of something you want to see. This is actually, obviously this is 13S, so that's really what you want to see in a in development for a tropical system. So that's going to be moving kind of eastward there towards Africa. But really, something you gotta really keep in mind as well is that we're going to be seeing any moisture coming from the from the far eastern Indian Ocean here, and watching out if this could really well move westward and become a big threat, just like that. If we have any moisture that can develop off at, Australia, that would be a key factor to developing any system as well. Obviously, you got to keep in mind whether we can see anything developing up here in the north central Indian Ocean, where we do have a ton of moisture. But again, still, it could be quite a, we could see a few storms between now and the next 2 weeks. Definitely keep a look for those two storms, the one off Australia and the one that can potentially hit eastern Africa. Of course, those are key factors: the precipitation, whether there's drier or not this year, whether there's shear or not, and as well whether the SSTs are warm enough. Can we check those three markers off and see those two systems or even more? Well, we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.